like to introduce Tracey from the United States, who takes LDN for multiple sclerosis. Thank you for joining me, Tracey.
Thank you.
Could you tell us when you first started to notice your MS symptoms?
I've been having symptoms for approximately 15 years, but I had had 2 back surgeries, so we always thought that my symptoms were related to the back surgeries. So I'm not exactly certain when the symptoms started, but I do know about 2 years ago I started getting spasms in my back that were, I couldn't control them with anything.
Hmm. So when were you actually diagnosed with MS?
I was diagnosed April 11th of 2012.
And by the time you were diagnosed, did you have any other MS symptoms?
I had memory problems. I had walking problems where I would lose my balance. I had terrible nightly spasms. I would fall asleep at night, and then 2 hours later, I was getting woke up with spasms in my back, and I was unable to bend over just to put my slippers on to get out of bed. I mean, the spasms were drawing me backwards, and I had no control of movement, and the pain was unbelievable.
And did your doctor give you any medication at that time?
At that time, um, I was given something, but I can't remember the name of it.
What was it for?
It was for spasms. I had been taking Flexeril and Darvocet for about 10 years, and then they took Darvocet off the market. So then I was given, oh, I wish I could remember the name of it.
That's fine. Could you tell us if you had to rate your quality of life at that time on a score of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would it have been?
Oh, it was definitely a 1.
Goodness. Okay. And how did you hear about LDN?
I started researching alternative treatments. My doctor had put me on beta-seron, uh, daily injection, or every other day injections, I'm sorry. And they made me terribly sick. And come to find out, I was actually allergic to the beta-seron. So I wanted something else to help me. And I went to my doctor with the information that I found on LDN, and he wasn't comfortable prescribing the medication to me unless he saw the research that had been done. So I gathered up the research that I found and took it to him, and he started giving me the LDN and another patient, and since then there's 3 of us that have been on LDN.
And what did you notice when you first started? Did you have any introductory side effects?
Yes, I did. I had anxiousness, and I was irritable for about a week. And I wasn't quite sure if I was going to make it through, but I knew it was a side effect to expect. The anxiousness had me a bit worried because I didn't know if that was something that would go away, but that has since gone away, and I'm really happy with the LDN.
And how long did it take before you started to notice improvements?
The very first day that I took the LDN, I did not have a spasm in my back that I had been having previously. I had been going so long with this back spasm waking me up every single night. I expected to be woke up that night, and I have had improvements since the very first dose of LDN.
Well, that's amazing. And I mean, getting a good night's sleep helps the next day tremendously, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So, what did your doctor think?
Initially, he thought that um, I was willing myself better.
Hmm.
um, he thought that I expected benefits, so that's why I was having benefits. And I explained to him, no, I'm definitely having benefits. Um, and
That's,
I have to go for another MRI so we can check to see if the lesions have changed at all.
mhm. And what would you say your quality of life is now on that scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best?
I would have to say it's a 10. This is this time in my life right now is the best I've felt in 15 years.
Well, that's amazing, isn't it? Truly amazing.
Yes, it is.
And how did it affect you at the time of being diagnosed with MS?
Um, Initially, my first feelings were I knew it, you know. I just knew it. Um, and I went through a slight depression. For the first month, I went through a depression. Um, I actually got more depressed when I was taking the beta serin shots because they completely diminished any quality of life that I did have at that time was completely gone because of the beta serin injections. And I had gone back to my doctor, and although I was on the beta serin, I was showing neurological improvements, but I was so sick, I had no quality of life. Um, so I stopped taking the beta seron injections, and then I started back up, and it took about 3 weeks for the beta seron to get out of my system. I started taking the injections again because I started getting symptoms again, and then I was back to being sick again. And after about 11 days of being on the beta seron again, I stopped taking it completely. And then it was another month and a half before I started the LDN.
And what would you say to other people who are thinking of trying LDN?
Definitely try it. I know it's not going to work for everyone, but I know it worked for me, and I'm just very happy. I'm very happy. It saved my life. I believe that it saved my life. And it's what's so strange about it is there's no side effects. I mean, initially, like I said, I had the first week of anxiousness. I have more energy. I still have problems with fatigue, but not like it used to be. But I do have more energy, and I don't have, belly aches. I'm not drugged up. And that's the problems that I had with all the other medications I've been given before. Um, I'm just really happy with it.
What can I say? An inspirational story. Thank you very much for sharing it with us.
Thank you.